I mean, technology has been there for ages. I mean, it's nothing new to the travel industry. I would even say that disruption is not new to the travel industry. It has happened in the past. Maybe we didn't notice. Okay, things like online travel has been there for a decade now. E-ticketing has been there for a decade. Those things were disruptors. What is happening right now, we will see that in the presentation a bit later, is that technology is evolving too fast. So fast that it's difficult to foresee what's going to be the impact in the travel industry. And we are seeing a few things happening, is that basically most of the travel providers are focusing on personalization of the travel, which is very important, and we will talk about that later. But that's leading to fragmentation. My colleague Julia was talking about that before in the previous presentation. There is more and more fragmentation. So at the end, the fragmentation means that we need more collaboration into all the different players in the travel industry in order to provide this seamless door-to-door experience. So for me, that's one of the biggest strengths right now, the need for collaboration and integration of different services. And I would say the second one, also linking to what Iva was saying on the consumer behavior. The travelers are extremely savvy right now. They are so connected. They are accessing 24/7 to the different services up to the point in which they cannot live without internet. So this is leading to something which is called the smart boredom, which is that the travelers are not bored as far as they are connected to a smartphone. And obviously it's a big trend that is happening right now, and we have to accommodate all the offering in the travel industry around us.
Excellent. Well, that's a really great couple of opening points, and that's just the warm-up. So you're all welcome. Anybody new can come straight to the front. There's still some space here. So I'm going to kick off by giving the digital tourism think tank's perspective on current trends we're seeing right now in the business cycle. And the first thing I think, is we always have to remind ourselves that in everything we do, we have to put the visitor right at the heart of our strategy. So it's very tempting to get carried away with our own business goals, our own destination goals, building a brand, or driving sales. But unless we do that with the visitor at the heart of our strategy, we're going to always fail in what we try to achieve. And this is really not a new principle, but it's more of a reminder. And it's something that in the digital space, UX and user experience and user-centered strategies is nothing new to being successful online. But we have to evolve this in our wider business principles and in our approach to creating experiences, for example. Always think about what are the visitors' needs and how do we put a visitor right at the heart of those of our strategy. And we see three big paradigm shifts right now happening in travel. So the first is that the visitor cycle as we know it no longer exists. It's still helpful and it's still useful as a strategic framework, but it simply isn't as simplified as it always has been. Secondly, we've got this always-on consumer, connected all the time with many touch points across many devices. And having a relationship with that consumer is increasingly challenging, but at the same time it presents more and more opportunities. So that goes to the complexity aspects of things. And the third is that technology is driving a completely new experience economy. And technology is not only changing how we distribute and sell travel in its entirety, but it's also disrupting and changing what travel looks like today. So if we zoom forward to augmented reality and think, okay, this is a technology which is developing fast, augmented reality is one single piece of technology is transforming how we experience travel in its very essence. So just think about those three different things. So let's start with the business cycle. And this is, everybody has their own interpretation of the business cycle. I think you might see a few in the next hour. This is, in its most simple form, awareness through to sharing and affinity. And these principles still apply, but unfortunately they just can't be segmented into very rigid segments as they used to be. There's much more cohesion between different aspects, and there's much more blurring of the lines. And different people are now playing in spaces that they never used to play in. And so we have to really think about how it's evolved, but at the same time, keep that business cycle still guiding our strategy? Well, we know that social and mobile has created this infinite loop in travel. It means that the sharing and the in-trip part of travel is now one of the most important, from only a few years ago being probably for the online players one of the least important. We know that decisions, bookings, they happen in the moment, in an instant, and influences can be very fluid and changing all the time. So we have to be ready to engage people in that mobile environment and also in the moment and in real time. And that's quite a challenge for businesses which are not set up to do this. And further than that, you've got your sharing, which has been there for quite a while, but supporting and embracing this sharing of experiences is really, really key. And then you've got this mesh of complexity. So this is where you have 300, 400 even different touch points that consumers are typically now making before they make a decision. And we obviously can't be managing every single one of those small micro touch points. And that's really something that's quite difficult, especially if you're a small business, to manage that and to be across all those different places. But actually, what it really comes down to, from our perspective, is how you use the data that you have. Whether you're a tiny business or whether you're a global conglomerate, how do you use the data at your disposal to actually improve your customer's experience and build on that? I'm going to play a short snippet from one of the interviews that we've done in the Launchpad with a destination in Switzerland. And he talks about how they try to find utility in using their data, and they design everything around data. Well, I skip forward a little bit faster.
So it's not which you actually, but we are actually working to with KPIs. So actually we can tell you how many people are using the app, how many people are on the mountain, how many people are what using the slope, etc. etc. So this helps you to focus on the needs of the customer, okay, and to see new trends. But actually, as I said, the data that we're using and the data that we're collecting, there is a huge difference. We are starting now to have this data strategy and to include this data strategy in the whole destination marketing. So actually, the data that we are collecting now is, for example, which customer use which Wi-Fi point. Because now we have Wi-Fi everywhere. For example, for us, in terms of investment, it's very important to know where there's people connecting. So this kind of data is very important.
Okay, so I won't play all of that because we only have limited time. But in essence, what they've done is they've really worked on being a service provider for their visitors, and they've really supported the experience of visitors in the destination. And this in itself is what's driving such a good experience, a good reputation, and it's really driving people to the destination. So they're only able to do that by using data. And we've got to shift this thinking from being marketing oriented to being more about the experience, but also thinking about how we can interact that. So we've got this blurred space right now between reality and virtual reality, and a lot of tech people will call this XR. So it's really a mixed reality world. But if we bring this into the destination environment, it brings us to ask questions about what is the focus of our strategy, what is RX? Is it developing experiences? Is it using data to improve the experiences? Is it how we manage the overall experiences of connecting everything? And is it innovation? So as you see here, marketing doesn't really come into it because it's all the rest that helps support and develop your brand and your identity and the interest that you drive for people. And ultimately, those decisions will always go back to how you put the visitor right at the heart of that strategy and how you deliver on the brand promise and all of your marketing communication says to your destinations. So we built a framework, unfortunately not time for the whole thing today, but it's built on many different things. And it's really looking at the whole thing holistically. But today I'm just going to focus, before I hand over to the next speakers, on how to find brand match and what that's really about. And that's mixed with managing the experience and developing services and all the other aspects of the destination. So what is a brand? Well, it's about carving out your identity. and understanding what is unique about your identity and reinforcing it through the experience, through messaging, through all the different content channels you have, but also in the experiences you support and develop yourself. So whether you say you're a city of bicycles or you're a destination that is in harmony with nature, you need to be relentlessly driven on emphasizing and accentuating those strengths that you have, and making sure that for your visitors you deliver on those promises, and that they talk about those strengths as well. I'm going to end with a short clip from Singapore Tourism, because we did a case study with them last year, and they've just done a complete brand repositioning, which is absolutely brilliant. And I think this echoes a little bit what I'm saying, and it's a good note on which to end this first introductory presentation.
In this brand journey that we did for Brand Singapore, we recognize that, travelers are changing, their needs are evolving. A lot of them are going and wanting to understand what the destination offers, the authentic side of things. So for us, we also wanted to move beyond just describing the place and giving you checklists of things to do. We said that there's got to be more to it, really, because as a destination, we offer a multi-layered experience, right? So our shift is really from a transactional perspective to an attitudinal perspective, where we want to convey the attitude which Singapore stands for, and that's timeless. Over time, the places you visit may change, but that ethos, the fundamentals of what the destination stands for and how it drives the environment, the experience, will remain across.
Okay, so we summarize this down to 4 C's. If you bought a diamond ring for your wife, you might know this. That should be 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. I wasn't paying attention yet. Clarity, color, cut, and carrots. How clear is your message? How engaging is your content? How well defined is your strategy? And what resources do you give to building that? And this is the last slide for me. We summarize this into a kind of a nice little diamond diagram, which at the very top you've got your tone, how you speak to your audience, what your brand is about, your partners and how they reinforce that. Next you've got your content, how you become storytellers all the time, how you engage people, down to distribution, inspiring people, engaging people, developing that interest, supporting, convincing and delivering on that message, supporting the image, promise and the reality, and then you've got user experience and visitor experience, which is then supported by your data and how you design experiences, and then how you target them, and then ultimately how you convert them. This is just one kind of thinking around how we might think about all the different pillars which make up our visitor cycle and the strategy behind it. So that's my opening slides. I'm now going to hand over to Iva, who's going to give us the Google perspective. So Iva, please give Iva a very warm welcome to the stage as she talks you through Google's perspective.
Hello again. As Nick mentioned, I represent Google. I'm an industry manager for travel and tourism. I know that our job titles at Google can be confusing. People often reach out to me on LinkedIn thinking that I actually contract and book travel for Google employees. So they offer me discounts on flights and hotels, which is great. It's not what I do, however. What I do is that I work with some of the largest travel companies and tourism boards here in the region. I help them build their digital strategies and leverage Google's platforms to attract more travelers. Now, as you may know, Google has 7 platforms that have over 1 million users each. So the question that we get asked most frequently by our clients is, what does the journey look like? How do people arrive at their decisions? What impacts their decisions to go to a particular destination? When do they decide? And these are all very, very legitimate questions because we build our planning, our creative assets, our measurement around these questions and the pursuit funnel. And to Nick's point, this is how a lot of us did planning for a number of years. We were taught as marketeers to think of a linear funnel and to build our process around these stages. Now, because Google is very interested in user behavior, what we did last year is we spent 6 months analyzing thousands and thousands of actual customer journeys through a third-party opt-in panel. What we learned was quite amazing. First of all, I can echo what Nick said, there is no funnel. It's not a funnel. It's a diamond, it's an hourglass, it's fireworks, it goes in all directions. Second of all, no two customer journeys are alike. Every user has its own way of arriving at the final decision. And what we thought was particularly interesting is that people go back and forth on the funnel all the time. So a person who may have started her journey researching hotels in Hawaii because she thought that's where she wanted to go, expanded her search at some point to all the beach destinations out there. So before you know it, Hawaii was competing with the Bahamas, with Dubai potentially, and every other place on earth that had a nice beach. She then narrowed down her search again to 2 destinations, and so on and so on. So this is to say it's more complicated than we like to think. The good thing though is we can address this new reimagined funnel. We do have to remember though that the travel research, as I said in the beginning, thanks to the number of options that we as travelers have, has become very broad and very complex. We're seeing on average at least 200 various digital interactions before a decision is made, sometimes even more. So that means again that instead of a traditional funnel, we have what we call a number of micro moments where people shape their opinions and decide where to go. We know that people get their information from a variety of sources, which again puts additional burden on marketeers to cover all of those sources. And we know that people use various tools to keep track of their progress and the information that they've learned throughout their research. To all this, all I can say is welcome to the age of assistance. This is a term that Google coined to say we live in a world where people are hyper-connected, where everyone has multiple devices, multiple apps, and as a result, people expect quick, relevant, and helpful experiences every step of the way. So age of assistance is the key concept that we work with and something that every marketeer should embrace. Part of this age of assistance trend also includes the fact that we see more than 60% of all queries now happening on mobile because it's there, because it's accessible. For a lot of marketeers, they're still struggling with what their presence and what their KPIs on mobile should be. We're also seeing that smartphones are becoming key to how people plan their trip, especially in MENA. We know that destination searches come from mobile. We know that smartphones are key in researching travel options. We see that they don't necessarily book as much on mobile, but it's still an important part of their experience and decision-making process. The fact that we live in a digitalized world also impacts the way that the users book their trips. So we're seeing now that the booking window is getting tighter and tighter, so people may have had a very lengthy research process, but the actual booking happens days or hours within a flight. We see that there is a growing interest in booking online, but still a significant portion of people booking offline, which presents a challenge for marketeers as to how do they measure, how do they connect their online marketing activity with what actually happens in store. We know that search is a huge discovery. Google search is a huge discovery and starting point for a lot of travelers. So when they think destination, when they think vacation, Google search is typically the first place they go. And another interesting trend that we've observed that had an especially staggering growth in the recent years is the role of YouTube in choosing a destination. So travel videos have become massive and they're part of the decision-making process. We also see that people turn to their devices, their smartphones, for advice and decision where to go, much more than they do to their friends and family and their other sources. So what happened as a result of the age of assistance is that the users have developed three key traits: curiosity, being demanding, and being impatient. And I'll just briefly address each of these with the data. Their curiosity is primarily reflected in the fact that 1 in 4 consumers shop for personal travel on a daily basis. This is very important because, again, going back to the questions that the clients ask, it's usually when do people search? When do they decide? And our answer to that is every day, because they can. So I may check out a new hotel I've heard about, although I have no intention of booking right away. I may check flight prices for a trip that's 6 months from now just to see if they've changed. So travel research happens every day. There are certain peaks that we observe per market, but if you're thinking flighted short-term campaigns, that is not how people search for travel. Another important piece of information that we discovered is that only 9% of people have a brand in mind when they start their research. This is huge in terms of opportunity for travel agents, right? This means that everyone can compete in most situations. The playing field is simply bigger for everyone because there's less loyalty and people are more open to changing their mind if they come across something more interesting. The second trait, which is demanding, is 92% of users say that they would switch to another app or site if their needs are not met, which I think explains underperformance of a lot of applications that are launched, a lot of mobile sites we see out there. So no one is sticking around because we have a great brand or because they're meant to be loyal. If they're not assisted the way they expect to, they will go away. And finally, only 1 in 4 will continue to book if the user experience on the app or site is not good. So if it's slow, 3 out of 4 will leave. What does that mean for all of you today, especially if you're running the travel business? Basically, assistance is the new battleground for customers. We're seeing successful brands abandoning robust brand-first narratives. We're seeing them getting more and more granular, understanding what it is that they can do to help their audiences along the way. And this doesn't have to result in an immediate booking. Let me just be clear on that. It's about what can we do to be more assistive to our prospective customers that will really help brands grow. So, ensuring that your campaigns are tailored in a way that they account and enable for last-minute booking, for last-minute changes, rather than having a very strict flighted schedule of things happening. For example, one thing we discovered this year at Google with the Easter campaigns in Europe, because Easter was later, the booking window was extended. And a lot of our clients actually extended their original campaigns because we saw that there was still a lot of search volume, a lot of people who haven't made up their mind and booked their travel. So as a result, those clients who were flexible and able extended their campaigns to jump on the trends that we were observing at the time. Highlight the areas where you're competitive, where you're helpful, highlight the things that you can do for your customers, improve the technical performance of your assets. I have to say this sounds like common sense, but one of the things that we're constantly seeing with client tests is that the vast majority of assets we work with are underperforming on the technical front. And it's still a struggle for a lot of them, not understanding how much it impacts performance. And finally, make sure you have enough granular messaging to capture the true traveler intent, to capture the actual micro moment that they're in, and not some perceived high-level stage of the funnel. These four things combined should get you, hopefully, a more successful travel business. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eva. Let's give Eva a round of applause. And I'm going to keep moving so we stay on track with time, and we'll come to discussion at the end. So Ernesto, the floor is yours. Let's hear the Amadeus perspective.
Thank you so much. So, good afternoon to all of you. So my name is Ernesto Sanchez, and today I've been asked by Nick to talk about perspective for consumer purchase and European trends, which is quite an interesting topic. There are many things happening in this area. So we wanted to share with you our views of this. The first one I think is quite obvious. We were talking about that in the beginning. It's technology. Technology is changing everything. It's nothing new, as I was saying before. Technology has been there for ages. What is new is the speed of that technology. And also on top of that, what is new is that there are so many things that can be impacting the travel industry in the short term that it's really difficult to focus on one of them. And I decided to picture just 9 of them there. And we know for sure, because it's already happening today, that many of them are already disrupting the industry. Some of them may or may not. Okay? The case of mobile has been already covered by you as well. Okay? So obviously, as of today, there are 4.3 million people using the mobile phone, and this is accelerating with the new generations. Artificial intelligence. There are billions of dollars spent in a yearly basis by big giants in IT on artificial intelligence, and we are seeing more and more things coming in the travel industry that will probably reshape the whole industry. Virtual and augmented reality, that's something that is already happening. The same way that in the past, whenever you want to buy a car, you want to try the car. Now in the future and today, if you want to go to a destination, why don't you try that destination first? Why don't you use the augmented reality and virtual reality in order to get immersed into that destination, trying to take a look into a hotel or a plane or some other things before you buy that product, which is essential. Cloud technology, most of the companies worldwide are uploading all the data. Obviously, this is very well related to increases in the security, which is already happening. The Internet of Things, we have, as of today, billions of devices, but in the near future we'll have trillions of devices, all of them connected to Internet, all of them talking to each other and reshaping the whole experience of traveling. Also related to this, advanced robotics, biometric technology, more and more companies are using biometric, replacing their passwords for biometrics, which is increasing security as well. 3D printing, in the case of Dubai, for example, they are ahead of other cities in the world using 3D printing. And last but not least, blockchain. So, as you can see, we have so many things impacting in the short term that it's difficult to see as of today what is going really to reshape the travel industry or not. But let's take a look also into the travelers. Okay? The travelers are not something static. The travelers are evolving, and the travelers are becoming more and more savvy, more demanding, more connected. Actually, even in Amadeus, whenever we commission studies, we don't take a look any longer into the demographics. Now we take a look into the psychology of the traveler, which is far more important, okay? About how the traveler behaves, rather than if the traveler has this age or belongs to a social or economic level. Okay? This is far more interesting. In the case of the travelers, this is where they want to go. Okay? They are becoming some kind of, I don't want to use the word spoiled, but obviously they are paying for things. when I pay for things, I want the service, I want the return, you know? And now I'm connected 24 hours, so I use my mobile, I use social media. In the case of mobile, we have already seen, for example, that 80% of the people plan something related to their trips on their mobile phone. And we expect next year that 50 of the sales on the travel industry worldwide will go through mobiles, no longer through desktops or any other platforms. So mobile is not the future, it's today. Personalization, super important. So me, as a traveler, I don't want to be treated the same way as others. I have different needs from the rest of the people, correct? So I want a service which is personalized, which is customized, tailored to my needs, and completely different from others. Service, digital control, and what we were referring as before as well, the total trip experience. This is key. More and more travelers want a seamless flow in the trip, door to door, from the beginning till the end. Because what's happening right now is a verticalization of all the different services rather than having horizontalization. Okay? So it's very difficult to see the connections of having a seamless experience and to have a one-stop shop that can offer everything. So all these things the travelers do, which I think is quite logical, okay? Because they pay for that. So let's take a look to the travel experience now as a key. So what the travel providers need to provide to make sure that they address the needs of the travelers. Well, first of all, they have to know their audience. I was talking about that before. So each traveler is different. Each traveler is unique. Each traveler needs to be treated in a completely different way in all the different stages of the travel, in the inspiration, in the booking, in the searching, whenever they go to the airport, whenever they are traveling, whenever they are in the destination. So these need to be taken into consideration, knowing the audience, knowing the needs of the different travelers. Owning the brand, super important. The brand loyalty is gold, really. And this is what most of the different travel providers are aiming to. Building loyalty is super important, but it's very difficult as well, because there are many offerings out there that all the different travel providers have to focus precisely on that, on own the brand, so that they can build the brand loyalty. Leverage on user-generated content. So the content is no longer coming just from the travel providers, now it's coming from the travelers. The travelers are providing ratings on their services, on the flights, on the hotels, on anything. And that's content that is being generated by travelers, and the travel providers have to take advantage of that. They have to leverage on that, to improve their services, and to provide new things. And obviously, super important, that omnichannel experience, which is so critical to the success. It's no longer about I'm using just one device, like my laptop or my desktop, in order to do the booking and do the whole thing. No, I switch between different devices, okay? Online and offline in many of the cases. And I need to make sure that everything is really well connected. So, the driving side, okay? Which is super important. And has evolved dramatically. You remember like 10, 20 years ago, whenever we were traveling, even before the online, the sunrise of the online travel agencies, it was very simple. You were just going to a travel agency, you were booking, you were doing the booking, you were going to the airport, you were flying, you had your experience, and then you go back home. Now, everything has changed. And there are multiple opportunities out there. Really, tons of opportunities for different providers. The first one, very important, inspiration. Probably you will be quite surprised to hear that the millennials and Generation Z, two-thirds of them, 66% of them, whenever they are traveling, they don't have any destination in mind. They just want to travel, they just want to have that experience of traveling. So they are very prone to be inspired. They can be easily influenced, and we can talk about that later. After that, of course, we have the shopping experience. So they are inspired, they go for the searching of the shopping, do the booking, okay? And after the booking, there is a window of opportunity of around 24 hours or 48 hours in which the traveler is super excited. I'm going to travel, a business trip or a leisure trip, but I'm going out of home. So that window is a potential opportunity for cross-selling and upselling, and a very important one. And needs to be basically, travelers needs to be approached by different travel providers who want to take advantage of that in order to increase their revenues. Also, another window of opportunity, quite important, 24 hours or 48 hours before the departure. Again, the excitement comes up. Okay? So I'm leaving. I'm going to leave. There are many things that I want before I'm traveling. Then on the way to the airport, when I'm getting close to take my flight at the airport itself, and here Internet of Things and many other technologies are with a new seamless experience with potential upselling and cross-selling opportunities. On trip, obviously connected 24/7 and post-trip. So as you can see, and you can see that by the icons that we have around the site, there are so many opportunities. I mean, this disruption that is coming thanks to the technology and changes in the customer behavior, rather than a threat in the industry, is more an opportunity for many players. And we're taking advantage of that. Now let's go to the online area, which is how the press conference, in which we unveiled the results of white paper that we commissioned to Focusrite, in which we were taking a look to the online bookings or online travel agencies in Middle East and North Africa. Quite interesting to see that unfortunately Middle East and North Africa is still lagging behind most of the regions in the world in terms of online bookings adoption. Only 33%, as you can see there, in 2018. But the good news is that we expect in just 3 years' time that to grow up to 44%. So Middle East and North Africa is well positioned to be the second fastest growing region in the world after China in terms of online growth in just 3 years' time. Now you can think about all the opportunities which are out there for all the different online players. Another good news as well. We are foreseeing a growth in online, but we also foresee a growth in offline. So that means that the growth in the online bookings is not going to cannibalize the growth in offline. So both of them are set to grow in the short term. So what we are doing in Amadeus to make these opportunities a reality, because the future is now. So you can see that summarized in this chart, which at the end is like a virtuous circle, or a virtuous square, right? So the travelers, as we were saying before, have now different demands. So new players, new rules, new services, they are more and more demanding. In Amadeus, we have a good expertise. We are providing technology. We are the leading IT provider for the travel industry, and obviously we are able to provide those personalized offers to all the different players that you can see there. Okay, provide different solutions that serve the travelers, and we call this the live travel space, okay, which is an open, dynamic, and connected environment in which you have Amadeus Travel Platform at the core. And what we are doing, what we are aiming with this, is becoming the Netflix of travel. And you will be asking yourselves, how the hell is it going to become the Netflix of travel? Well, it's very simple. What we are doing is, we are providing a platform in which we will have all the different providers connected, even the users, they can generate content that can be offered through any of the different channels over there. As you can see, any content, any source, through any channel. So this is our vision of the future. I think that we have many opportunities ahead, probably more opportunities than ever before, and we invite you to collaborate with us. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much to both of you for those interventions. We're going to go to the discussion part of today's panel today. So if you have any questions, I'll come to you in 1 moment, but I first of all just want to ask you both this, first of all, this question: can we still rely on that traditional business cycle as a basis for our planning, our strategies, and how we think as brands? I will put that question to you first of all, Iva.
So I think we talked a lot about the funnel. I think fundamentally the stages are still there. People still need to mature from, I know nothing about this place, to I really want to go there and I'm booking my flight. The thing is, it doesn't happen in a neat, linear way, as I mentioned. So yes, we do have to account for people who are in different stages and different mindsets of planning. we just cannot assume that they will nicely progress from one to the other within a month or however long our campaign is. So being able to capture those micro moments and being able to capture the intent that they're showing with a particular search, with a particular search query, with a particular app use, that is the key to mastering the new funnel.
Great, yeah, can keep the mic. So, and you talked about different behavioral patterns. Many consumers just looking and then not going back to that for maybe 6 months, a year, or perhaps not at all. Others looking at one destination and then suddenly evolving into a much broader search. So this is certainly a huge challenge to know how to try and pull that customer in and build that relationship, because the funnel in that sense of pushing them down it just isn't quite as easy, I guess, in that sense.
It is, but thankfully we have a lot of technology. I speak specifically of Google now. We do have a lot of targeting and advertising technology today that enables us to recognize the stage of the research and the state of mind that the user is in. So the resources are there for advertisers to capture the real intent. But going back to the original point from my intro, companies need to have expertise and processes in place to be able to capture the insights that the technology gives them.
Yeah, so everybody needs to have analytics and data as, if not a department, at least a person. So how does this, this traditional visitor cycle look for Amadeus? You actually did show us at the end there still something which we can all relate to, but the detail of those different stages is changing. So do you think we can still depend on those different stages of travel and plan with that in mind?
Absolutely. I truly think that the evolution is a constructive evolution. It's not a destructive evolution. So the disruption is not up to the point that whatever was in the past is no longer valid. This is still valid. The thing is that there are some things which are evolving and important. One of the key one of the key problems that we have in the travel industry is that we have too much data and we don't know what to do with it. And it's a bit of bittersweet as well, because it's one of the few industries in the world that have a massive amount of data. I mean, we have trillions and trillions of data out there on the travelers, on behaviors, etc. And we are still failing in something, which refers to what we were saying before, Nick, in the circle, is that not only how we analyze the consumer behavior, but how we can try to predict and to anticipate what will happen, so that at the end all the different players are connected and they collaborate all together, but we can anticipate the needs of the travelers, not only serving them, but anticipating what they may need. I think that's one of the keys for the evolution of the travel industry in the short term.
So I think very much echoes what you're saying about the importance of understanding the data you have, even if that's very minimal and simple data, get a real grasp of it and build something based on that. So I want to sort of go into this question of omnichannel, but at the same time picking up, Iva, on how you ended your presentation by talking about the age of assistance. And I think it's a really great point that you made there about needing to support our visitors, our travelers, our customers in a very, very different way to how we've always perceived kind of brand building. Do you see assistance as something which is about the brand? I'm thinking that on the one hand we perhaps support our customers with good content which informs them, and at the very other end of the scale, maybe that's in voice and making something easier.
Absolutely. We see, as I mentioned, that a lot of brands are still thinking brand first. They're thinking about the message that they want to convey rather than thinking what the user is interested to hear. I think there's a lot of pressure as well on companies to sell, and they think that unless they have a direct sales message, the sales isn't happening, which is not the case. So sometimes you really need to take a step back to take a step forward, actually. And think about it, if that person in that moment is just interested in understanding what the difference is between staying in JBR and staying in downtown, then let's give them that information. Or if that person is interested in the most awarded restaurants in Dubai, let's try to give them that. Or if they're trying to book transportation. So rather than thinking, this is my direct sales message, how do I get it out there? Let's think about how do we connect with the user, where and when it makes sense for them. Because again, you're not the only one competing there. There's hundreds of brands who thought about sending their direct sales message.
I mean, that's a really good point, and what I certainly see is that sometimes you have people who don't understand the difference between building a brand through all of the tools you have and delivering a very sales-oriented message. And I guess your advice would be to support the development of that interest through content, especially at the early stages, but to build sort of more commercially price-focused messaging in between that. Is that a kind of the right strategy?
I think it's about serving the right content to the right people. So yes, if I'm interested in knowing exactly how much a trip to Dubai will cost or how much it costs to go to the top of Burj Khalifa, then please give me that information directly. So there is a time and place for sales-oriented messages, which ironically brands often fail to do. Sometimes when the user is searching for very direct sales-oriented information, they serve a long, irrelevant narrative, and vice versa. So again, it's about understanding the micro moment. It's about understanding the intent, which is why a lot of what we do is around understanding intent, and then having the right kind of content to address that specific query.
Now, at Amadeus, you obviously, I think you're in such a privileged position to have just so much data at your disposal, such a deep understanding of consumer behavior all the way through to booking patterns and even availability. How do you see this omni-channel environment playing out for the brands that you work with? Is this something that they find increasingly complex, or do they actually find that connecting the right data, they can actually be really more successful than perhaps they were before?
Basically, sales distribution, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What we are seeing right now is fundamental changes in the distribution that will have fundamental changes as well in the industry, or in the medium long term. Well, at Amadeus, obviously we are providing indirect distribution for most of the players. Now we see more and more initiatives coming, especially from IATA, on the distribution capabilities. They are pushing the different providers to have direct distribution because they want to take full control of the offer. So, but at the end, the expectations are in the short term are just around 21 airlines which are in the board of the NDC are expected to have like 20% of the bookings by 2020, something similar, but represents 4% of the bookings worldwide, which means still at the end what we foresee is that there will be like a convergence of the direct distribution channel with the indirect distribution channel, and we are basically NDC is one of the drivers of that and for facilitating that.
Okay, great. I'm going to open up to questions from the audience because we have just a few minutes left. So, who would like to ask this great panel a question? Do feel free to raise your hand. Wow, they are shyer than last year, I have to say. Maybe somebody at the front? Oh, we have somebody at the front there.
Hi. So, great data points from the whole journey of the customer. Do you see that if a repeat customer has different data points, do they go through the same cycle but just differently, and therefore you study that and you advertise and spend money on a reverse cycle maybe because this guy came with us once and now I think he's going to travel differently. Do you predict that at all?
So thanks for the question. Thanks for receiving today. Actually, it's very interesting. In some instances, we see repeat customers behaving like a completely new customer. I guess it depends on the category and the product, but if you think about it, if you bought a computer from Apple, you're a customer, but then you may not be interested in them at all for 2 or 3 years because you're not in market to purchase, right? And so 2 or 3 years later, when you are in market, you start researching from scratch because you may or may not be aware of what's out there in terms of products, reviews, etc. So technically, any type of customer, in our experience, can go through any kind of customer cycle, especially if you're adding new products, if it's a long purchase cycle, etc. So just cater to the individual and what they need in the moment rather than labeling them a certain way.
So then remarketing to the same customer, thinking that he'll come back, now take his family to another Disneyland in another part of the world, would not be a good strategy then?
Well, remarketing is very effective for a lot of customers. Again, understanding what the message is at a given time. So if someone's interacted, if someone's visited Dubai's website a month ago on a particular campaign, what do we serve that customer a month later? Have they traveled? Have they not? What do we think happened there? So again, remarketing can be very, very effective, understanding what it is that we remarket and why.
Good question. Do you want to jump in on that?
Well, I just say that each trip is a unique experience. Irrespective if that trip is being done several times under similar circumstances, but each trip can be treated as unique and different, and each trip, many different things might happen even if it's the same thing. Okay? Even when you go to your office every day, probably every day small things change. Okay? And probably you are more prone or inclined to do different things with the time, even if it's the same person, with the same thing every day. So I would say that yes, remarketing is something I think that adds valuable and depends on the different circumstances and macro environment.
I think it's a great question. It's a really good point to end on, and I think actually what you kind of touch on is, can we use research and can we build profiles and understand our customers in the traditional sense anymore? Or perhaps should we give everything to automation, AI, to fully calculate every single interaction, every single development of that interest right through to booking and experience cycle. So to what extent should we use perhaps our creativity as humans, mankind, versus our sort of the data and a more calculation-driven approach, which allows us to also target. So I guess we'll leave that as an open idea, but where does one stop and the other start? It's a really good point to end on. So I'd like to give my panel a big thank you. Please give them a round of applause. Thank you for joining. And they will be here for a few minutes after the session to answer any questions you have. We'll be back tomorrow with a